Hey everybody, Norm from Tesla.com here at San Diego Comic-Con 2016. And as is tradition, I'm speaking with John Eblan of Quantum Mechanix, head of their FX Cinema Arts department. If you guys don't know, they're the ones who make these beautiful, beautiful miniatures, these ships. To call them miniatures would be actually a disservice because they're such an impressive scale.
They are. The Millennium Falcon currently, she's 180 scale, which puts a person at about a 1-inch height. That puts a lot of detail in there. It gives us a lot of creativity, a lot of freedom to really add the detail to make the model look like it's as real as possible and lived in.
Right, and the ships that we've seen you guys make before from various franchises, a lot of those ships never had physical models for production. You're making what would be imagined as like a studio scale model if the film production filmed it the way it was. Right. This is something completely different because it's a cutaway model. What inspired you to do this, and what was the development process like?
Well, it's a cutaway model of a physical model that actually exists. So we had a challenge on our hands. I'd say that I was probably working on this for as long as I can remember from when I was a kid. One of the great things that we had as reference was old Starlog magazines, any type of behind-the-scenes magazine that was made was invaluable.
So as a model making team, I imagine a lot of this design starts digitally. Was it all from scratch, or did you have assets from recent productions? Or
we do get assets from Lucasfilm as a licensed product. We are benefits of that. But a lot of it was creativity, a lot of it was 3D modeling, and a lot of it was scratch building. It's many arts that it takes to get it just right, not just one discipline. We've got a great crew at FX Cinema Arts. They love what they do, and being able to bring the Millennium Falcon to life in this manner was pretty much a dream come true for all of us.
So let's call out some of these details. Like, people have seen the cockpit, people have seen that room with the chess set, but what are some of the areas of the Falcon that you're allowed to imagine that haven't really been seen in the films?
Well, the engine room for one. In the engine room, you can see that. Well, it's got the regular sublight engines, which are the long band of copper and pieces there. But then you've got that odd-looking shape there, and that's actually the hyperdrive engine. That's basically a separate piece that was added into the ship at some point, which gave the Millennium Falcon that extra additional speed. We did put what I'm going to call an Easter egg inside the ship. Everybody saw at the end of Star Wars when Han gets his reward, but when it gets to Jedi, where'd the reward go? As far as everyone knows, he never gave it to Jabba. If you look between next to the boarding ramp, there's a small cubby hole, and all of the little crates that he got as his reward are all lined up in there. Basically, they got shoved in the wall, they got forgotten about, and that's where they're at.
I'm staring at this, seeing it for the first time, and so many little things from the holes where he's smuggling the goods, all these panelings.
The hidey holes.
Yeah, the hidey holes, so much of this. And now this is a product still in development. Is this going to be something that a consumer can buy?
That's our goal. She's been through a few approval stages. We've gotten some very positive feedback from Lucasfilm on it. We're at a stage now where we're going to be presenting them our next version of it, and the goal is that by this time next year we'll be having those in our booth.
It's not lit up right now, but it's also the goal to have it lit up and have electronics inside.
Currently, our goal is to not light this one up. One of the things that's unique with the ships from Star Wars is that they look beautiful with lights or without lights. So if we were to add lights to the Millennium Falcon, it would add a little bit to it, but it might add more to the cost than we're willing to do. Whereas the way she is right now, she's beautiful. She's the Millennium Falcon in all of her glory.
Great, and then from Star Wars, let's move on to Star Trek. This ship does have lights, and this is a ship from a film that's out now, Star Trek Beyond. A little bit of a spoiler warning if you want to completely devoid of spoilers. It does make an appearance in the trailer, but it's labeled as the USS Franklin. It doesn't look like actually a modern Star Trek ship.
It doesn't. I mean, only in the sense that it's got the two nacelles, the round dish. So she does have the lineage of all the Star Trek ships. What role she plays, what timeline she may lie in. That's not something that we were privy to. So What we were allowed to do, what we were happy to do was to build a nice little artisan replica of her.
Great, and it is, again, spoilers, an NX class ship. So for people who've seen Star Trek Enterprise, it's that class of ship, but does have a specific role in Star Trek Beyond. You guys should really watch the movie. That's a beautiful model. There's another model all the way across the other side of the booth. Can we go check that out as well?
Sure can. Let's go look around.
And finally, John, this is the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy. Ship that it's so beautifully designed, but to see it in person and all the different angles you can look at it, you appreciate the design in a whole new way.
She's a very complicated lady. From a lot of views, she's got a bird of prey look to her. From the forward view, she's very menacing. From most other views, she looks almost like a Swiss Army knife. She's very sharp. She's got a lot of blades, a lot of angles, a lot of wings, a lot of elevators on her that give her that maneuverability that you see in the movie.
Again, from the model making perspective, what are your considerations for structural integrity? Because you have these thin wings on the side. It's a very elaborate thing. Digitally, of course, it can just hold up. But as a physical object, how does this become real?
It's always a challenge to take what was done digitally and then turn it into physical. It's one that we love to do, though. It's such a challenge. Basically, what we start with the inside. We start with metal. So there's quite a bit of metal inside of her that keeps the main structure nice and rigid, nice and solid. With the products that we use, the epoxy resins that we use, the fiberglass that we use, we try to go for as strong of a material as we can, and we also use a lot of nuts and bolts. She's just basically screwed together with regular hardware.
Real hardware. Now, looking at the stand here, what's inspiration for that? Is that the final stand?
That's the stand that I like. That's the stand that she's on right now. That's just a piece of mechanical art that is in the cockpit. If you look at the cockpit, it's all basically machined metal, and we took a piece off the forward console that represents, and just made it look. That's basically a full scale piece out of the cockpit that she's sitting on top of.
You converted into part of the display piece.
Right.
Again, a great job. It's wonderful to see you here at Comic-Con and be able to see your new models every year. You guys do wonderful work.
It's a blast. It's a blast. Whenever we're given a challenge of something we haven't done before, it's we go into the project excited, and we may walk away scratching our heads. Well, how are we going to make this? But it's a process that you learn as you go, and it's just such an enjoyable process to take something from nothing, from digital files, and turn it into something physical at the end. When everything that's here came into our building, it was just ones and zeros, and when it left, it was a physical, real piece of heavy reality. And it was just a lot of fun to just go through the whole process, the painting process, the designing, what parts do we need to break apart so we can actually build it and put it back together, stuff like that.
And as a fan, we appreciate that you go into all that effort so we can see these things in real life, things that we've only seen on screen and imagined in our head. Thank you so much, John. It's great to see you.